Sports Video Group is excited to be in New York at our SVG GFX Forum. Brandon Costa from Sports Video Group have the honor to be joined by Craig Silver, who's coordinating producer for college football at CBS Sports. He does the top game each week, inside and out. So, Craig, thanks so much for being here and being a part of the event. It's great to see you.
Great to be with you and great to be at this event.
It was awesome to have you here on a panel talking about AR, XR, virtual production, those next level augmented reality, extended reality graphics in the live game environment. You guys incorporate them really nicely and beautifully, especially in that key afternoon window of 3:30 where you guys are now doing Big Ten games. As someone who sits at the front bench, what are these augmented reality graphics adding to the broadcast in your opinion?
Well, I think the virtual graphics that we're using these days, it's a seasoning. Mm-hmm. You don't want to overdo it, but it just adds a texture, a layer that makes the broadcast feel bigger, more enjoyable. You might be watching, not even sure that why it's better, but this is one of the reasons. Just like you go to steakhouses, you like one steakhouse better than the other.
Sure.
Is it how they sear it? Is it how they season it? And when we rehearse and we don't have our AR title card, we use our old title card. I'm like, what is this from like the 1980s? So I think it's the cutting edge technology, the newest cutting edge technology in our business. And if you don't have it, it's in the not so distant past. It was like, okay, if you didn't have pylons or Skycam, something was missing. It's not a big game. Going back further, if you didn't have a full-time bug or yellow line, something's missing. I think now on the big games, on big shows, you don't have AR, something's missing.
Now, to reflect on kind of the whole college football season, it was obviously a unique one for you. I married into a Big Ten family, Iowa in-laws, and I feel like that Iowa State game that you guys did earlier in the year, even they, as casual viewers of the game, noticed that, wow, this looks really different from what we've been used to seeing on, not knocking any of the other broadcasts that, those games have previously been on. But you guys made a pretty big shift from that 3 o'clock, 3:30 window being an SEC game to now being a Big Ten game. What was that experience like for you guys at the front bench, and how do you feel like you tried to bring maybe a different look at some of these iconic Big Ten venues and Big Ten rivalries?
So the word I've used ever since we made the switch is different. Mm-hmm. And not different, good or bad, just different. And we embraced different. Now I'm very lucky, I worked for many years with Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. Mm-hmm. And their relationship goes back to covering the Big Ten 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. In my long career, I've had the good fortune to cover Big Ten games along the way. But up until last year, I had never done a game at the big house,
sure, wow,
or at the shoe.
Uh-huh.
And at heart, I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. So I walk into the big house, and it's like, oh my God, wow. And I think our crew embraced that. We brought the same energy, the same focus that we did to the SEC all those years. Mm-hmm. But we realized we're not in the SEC, and all these teams, all these stories, all these teams, all these programs have unique stories. And we need to make sure that we highlight them. And even though people have seen a million games in Michigan, because it was new to us, mm-hmm, maybe it was new to some other viewer, and that's what we try to focus on. And it was a great experience. And going to Iowa for that mm-hmm. Iowa State game was one of the highlights of the season. That was a great place to do a game.
Yeah, it's always a great atmosphere in that building.
It's great.
Lastly, as you talk more about these augmented reality graphics in a live game broadcast, what do you see as kind of like short-term future for these? You've made the point on our discussion that some things that are really innovative one day are expected the next. So how do you think this can continue to be kind of a signature of something that, I'm watching a big game because I see these things?
I like analogies, and the hybrid vehicle a few years ago was a little bit of a oddity. Mm-hmm. Well, now you have a hybrid, it's pretty common.
Sure.
Now the next step is electric. I don't have an electric mm-hmm. vehicle, but it's coming.
Sure.
And the same thing with all this augmented reality graphics. It's here right now in small doses. We've had to learn how to work with it, how to design it, how to execute it, when it makes the most sense to use it in a broadcast. Whether it's Big Ten football, Final Four, any big show, Super Bowl that Fox just did. I think you're going to see in the very short term, 2, 3, 4 years, that augmented virtual graphics become more of the norm. And then it'll be what's next beyond that. But I wouldn't be shocked in a very short window if these type of graphics become the main source of our insert look. And then something else will advance it even further.
Nice.
And it's cool. It adds, it's got to combine with the content, not take away from the content, but enhance the content.
Yep.
And I think the people that are doing it properly, and Fox certainly did in the Super Bowl, hopefully we are, they're accomplishing that feat.
Yeah, and it definitely gives that big game feel, like we said. Craig, it's a pleasure and honor to have you here at the event. Thanks so much for coming by,
Thanks.
and always a pleasure to catch up with you.
It's my honor to be here. Thank you.